Formula One, a sport that spans hearts, minds and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. And that legacy continues today. The 2021 championship was thrilling from start to finish, and 2022 is set to be even better. New regulations will usher in an age of pioneering changes. New driving talent alongside returning champions will be dueling it out to the bitter end. The pressure will be on the team principals in the upcoming season as they manage their drivers, their cars, and the whole team to push to victory. This is not a challenge for the faint-hearted. This is Formula One. Mercedes returned to F1 in 2010, and since 2014 they've won the Constructors' Championships back-to-back every year. In 2021 they took home the Constructors' Championship once more, although they narrowly missed out on the Drivers' Championship, coming in second. Heading into 2022, Mercedes will insist. Haas joined F1 back in 2016, and they've had a good start to their team career, peaking at 5th place in 2018. Last season they finished 10th, but they spent a lot of time and focus on designing their car for 2022.
I'm gonna go with Haas,
strategizing for the future. Going into the 2022 season, Haas hope to have a strong car.
I guess. Yes. Oh, sheesh, room. Thank you.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. I'm Audrey Menser, one of the team's senior engineers. Welcome to the team. It's great to have you on board. Here at Haas, we've put a lot of energy into preparing for the upcoming season, and you're joining us just at the right time. Now, let's get you shown around. As our new team principal, you're responsible for a lot of aspects of the team. Everything from managing our team's growth, overseeing our finances, and deciding on race day strategies will be in your hands. You can keep an eye on most things from your dashboard here. I can take you through it now. First up, an overview of the board. They're the ones who set the expectations for the team. If they're confident in your leadership, you'll be fine. If they lose confidence in you, however, they might look to replace you.
Uh-oh.
The board sets season objectives for the team to achieve. Reaching them will help keep confidence high, so be sure to familiarize yourself with what's expected. You'll want to keep an eye on the long-term objective for beyond this season as well. Okay then, let's look ahead to the race weekend. We need to start preparing
Imagine
for
having
the next
ads.
Grand Prix, which will be the first of the season. As it's your first day though, there's nothing urgent for you to address. Feel free to explore more, or you can select continue and sign off for the day. Once you do, time will pass, but don't worry about missing anything. You'll automatically sign back in if an important event comes up.
So, let's see. Why is it not working? I'm very sad. Oh, I know why it's not working. True. Yes, yes, yes. Copy, copy. Now it's working. Somewhere, somehow. Can I put like a tiny box behind it? Background color, yeah. Yeah, whatever. So let's see. I've never played this game before, obviously, because it just came out. So, well, let's see what I can do. But I don't like this chat box.
This is your calendar for the month. Pay attention to the events that have been marked. The race weekends have already been added for you. More events will get added as the season progresses.
Okay, did.
This is where you'll carry out your final preparations for the next race. We'll come back here later.
Okay, did.
One of my favorite places. This is where the car builds happen, and where we develop and store our car parts. Throughout the season, you'll want to make sure the team are working on upgrading components, and that both cars are being kept in good repair. You can also use car analysis to compare our car builds to other teams.
Okay, did.
This is where you'll find relevant information on the team's drivers and reserve driver, including their performance ratings and contract details. You can also scout for new drivers, to make sure we have the best driver pairing we can. It's not just the fastest car that makes a team the best in F1. It's the people doing the hard work behind the scenes. Manage your staff from here, from department heads to your pit crew, and keep up to date on their performance. From here, you can see all the team's facilities, from the staff buildings to the car part development centres. You can build new facilities or, if the team has the time and money, upgrade our existing ones. Facilities affect all areas of our team's performance.
Facilities impact every area of your team. Building new facilities takes time and money. Yeah, makes sense. Upgrading existing facilities can be upgraded. Upgrading will increase monthly upkeeps. take a long time. Refurbishing. Okay. Makes sense, makes sense.
Over time, facilities will degrade and become less effective, so keep an eye on their condition. When this happens, we'll need to look at refurbishing or even upgrading that facility to get back to maximum efficiency.
Die Ferrari explode. Tschüss. Janski. Was gehen? Ich bin gerade dabei, Stuff zu machen.
Don't forget to check in with the board often. You can monitor board confidence levels, your available budget, and your progress towards a greater team rating from here.
Ich habe bislang noch nichts gemacht, außer außer die Tutorials durchgegangen.
Here, you can delve deeper into team finances and see our balance, as well as understanding information on income and rewards, and the enforced spending caps we have to abide by.
Okay. Oder, oh, ist das Cost Cap Even. Okay. Yeah, okay, I get it. Let's have a look. Aha. Top speed, yeah, get it. Wer hat gewirkt? Okay. Confirm, I guess. Or maybe not. Yeah. Let's just do stuff. Powertrain. Oof. 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 A big F. No way. Like, what the fuck?
Every team will continuously develop their cars over the season, so it's important you keep an eye on them. You can compare our team cars against any other team here, or even against an average of all teams. If you want to drill down even further, you can compare performance of specific car parts too.
I get it. Oh. Okay. Back. Wait, can I scout for drivers? Oh shit! Not interested to know that. I'll get it. Paris, okay. Lidim Sandalia. Okay. Oh, David Schumacher. Ooh. Imagine. Oof. Bottas open to negotiation. Easy clap. Kinda wanna do it for the lulz. Get back! Can I scout him? Yes. Yeah. Got him. Okay. Okay. Finance this cost cap. Okay. Post preseason testing. Ah, fair. I guess. Let's go. Continue.
It's no longer your first day. We'll have you on top of things in no time. You'll continue moving through days this way until it's time for the race, which you can see in the upcoming events list. It's good to get in the habit of regularly checking that list. Let's take a look at what needs doing today. You have an alert in the top corner. There's an important email awaiting a response, so you should check your inbox when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Looks like you've received a budget approval request. Most of the team's budget is decided by the board at the start of the season, plus whatever we get from last season's prize money, and any extra sponsorship revenue we earn.
Okay. It's party!
I reckon that's a good decision. It should keep the team in high spirits anyway.
Yes.
Now that's dealt with, we can focus on our first Grand Prix of the season. The race weekend is still a few days away, so move forward when you're ready.
I get it. I just want this.
We're getting very close to race day now. Just continue to do anything that's needed. In the future, you'll also want to decide on these actions yourself, to ensure our team are continuously developing and improving.
Okay. Oof. Big oof. Dirty air cornering. Funny. Oh, okay.
To start a project now, you'll need to commit money and engineering time. You'll be able to improve our car builds beyond their current performance.
Update, please. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay, yeah. Ah, I get it. Ah, I get it. I get it. Big off then. So I need to do this? No, I don't need to do that. I need to go... Yeah, new project.
There are 3 different types of projects the engineering team can work on. We can design a new car part for use this season, manufacture copies of existing designs, or undertake research and develop our expertise for next season. Are you sure you want to start a new project now?
Yes.
Okay, you want to get started with a design project. These are car parts we can design and manufacture in-house. Each car part impacts different areas of the car's performance, but certain car parts will have a greater impact than others. You can also view our car performance by rank on grid. This is a useful comparison tool and lets you see how our performance compares to that of all the other cars on the grid. Take a look over the different car parts. The highlights indicate which performance areas they impact the most. Pick one that impacts the ratings you want to improve.
Yes.
The team's expertise in making new car parts improves with experience, so each new design is likely to be better than an older one. Just make sure to check the new design against the one currently installed. Testing is also an important step in designing a new car part. Our testing time is limited throughout the season, and it's up to you to decide how much to commit to each design project. If you assign some testing time to this design now, you can see what effect it will have on the car part. Once you've taken a look, let's continue.
Ah. Okay.
You can direct the engineering team to focus on specific areas of performance. F1 car parts are complex, and sometimes you'll have to sacrifice performance in one area to achieve gains in another. Over the season, we'll understand more about our car's performance, which will help you to guide the team's design focus. You can try altering the focus now if you like, or else stick with a balanced approach. When you're ready, continue with the process.
Ah. I don't know. Just gonna leave it.
As a final step before the team gets started on this design project, you need to decide how many engineers you want working on it. You should also decide what approach they should take. Bear in mind, these decisions will have an impact on the duration and cost of the project. When you're happy with everything, confirm the project and the team will get started.
Ah. Ah. Yes.
Nice work. That's the project started. If you check your calendar, you'll see the team have given you a delivery date for the design. Once it's complete, you'll be able to manufacture that part anytime. Continually designing new car parts is imperative to improving our team's performance and staying competitive on the track. Check out the car analysis area regularly to see how our cars compare to others on the grid.
Uh-huh. Okay.
There's always some final work to do before we can set off. Check your inbox for the race prep report on this weekend's circuit.
Yes.
Okay, you have all the information you should need. Let's head to race preparation to see if there's any remaining tasks for us to complete.
Uh-huh.
This is your race preparation area, where you'll get the team ready for the upcoming race weekend. You can also find all the information you need on the circuit we're racing on here. One thing you'll always need to do before each race weekend is setting our performance targets. These help us generate more potential rewards for the team. Here we've got the performance targets for this coming weekend. If we meet these, we'll gain extra revenue. Looks like we've got incentives for both the qualifying session and the race. If we can reach those targets, we'll get an additional payout, and it won't cost the team anything if we don't meet them. You can also decide to add targets here and offer our sponsors guarantees. These are a risk, as we face a potential financial loss if we don't meet them. But if we do, we'll gain a much larger reward. Okay, if you want to offer a guarantee for this weekend and raise the team's potential rewards, now is your chance. That feels like something we can achieve without too much difficulty. The reward if we meet the guarantee is good, and the potential loss doesn't seem too bad either. Okay, we're done here.
Okay.
You've done everything needed, and the team can't wait to get started. It's time for the first race of the season. You can take some more time to look around if you like. When you're ready, let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Great to see you again. Welcome to your first race weekend with the team. It's Friday, so we're kicking off with free practice 1 as usual.
Okay. Okay, you guys?
Over here is our race preparation area. This is where you can make any changes you need ahead of the upcoming practice session. Rest assured the team have already prepared the cars for practice. When you're ready, we can continue to the practice session.
Okay. Nice, okay.
During race weekends, you can decide whether you want to manage the practice sessions yourself or whether to hand over control to your team. As it's your first race weekend, you should let the team handle the practice sessions.
Okay. I guess.
With the third and final free practice session all wrapped up, we now move on to qualifying. Drivers will have to demonstrate remarkable consistency as they progress through qualifying. Those at the very top of their game will be looking to lay down a lap time that sets them apart from their competitors. Sometimes that's a mere fraction of a second. So here we are, ready to resume.
Looking kinda cursed, not gonna lie. Oh, Charles Leclerc. Alpha? Okay, that.
maximize our drivers' performance. The team have them work on 3 goals during practice: track acclimatization, car parts knowledge, and setup confidence. If you manage the session yourself, you might get an even better performance from the drivers for the rest of the weekend. Right, time for qualifying. Our results here will determine where we start on the grid for Sunday's race. Qualifying takes place over 3 knockout rounds, and only the fastest drivers will advance each time.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Nice. What the fuck? I'm not a fan of like this, like how it's influencing this. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Start volley.
Same as practice, the team can handle qualifying for you if you like. Let's get you hands-on for this round though, just to make sure you're feeling confident before race day kicks off.
Well, just let me do practice, mate.
Our drivers need to be setting their fastest possible lap times, so we can advance to the next round of qualifying. The slowest 5 cars will be knocked out. Keep a careful eye on time remaining. The time limit on qualifying rounds really ramps up the pressure. Right then, let's get a car out on the track for its first run and see how it goes.
I mean, game looks good.
Each car is fitted with a number of onboard cameras, so you can see the action as it happens. You can also use the map view if you like. It gives you a good overview of the whole track and all the cars. Remember, you're managing 2 drivers throughout the session, so make sure to keep an eye on both of them.
Okay. No. How do I switch to him? Oh. Okay. It's not bad. Okay, yes. That's what I want. Okay.
That's a decent time for a flying lap. Keep an eye on the standings throughout the session, and try and keep the drivers out of the knockout zone. Right then. That qualifying run is done, so the driver will return to the pits now. I know everything happens so fast over a race weekend. But if you need to catch your breath, you can pause for as long as you like. Or, if things aren't moving fast enough for you, you can speed up a little.
Yeah. Off-piste endings. I'll get it.
Our driver is back in the pits. You need to reconfigure the car before we can send them back out. Let's go and take a look.
What?
The team will make
Oh,
sure the run
okay.
plan is updated to include refueling. So all you have to do is fit some fresh tyres. Here you can see all the tyre compounds available this weekend. When making any changes, just be sure you're considering both the condition and the compound of the selected tyre.
Okay.
We want maximum performance during qualifying.
Oh.
So let's use a fresh, soft compound tyre. Soft tyres are the fastest in dry conditions. Confirm the configuration with the team when you're happy.
Nice. Ah, okay. Okay. I get it.
Brilliant. The car's ready to head back out at your say-so. It's probably best to do at least one more run before the end of the round. The track will have more grip later in the round, but there will also be more traffic. It's up to you to...
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Managing pace will help you manage a car. Keep an eye on the tyre condition of both cars. Over time, tyre condition will...
Okay. How do I get to automatic again?
Fuel commands allow drivers to manage their...
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on your remaining fuel. If a driver needs an additional performance push for a short time, they can adjust their ERS strategies. There are 3 ERS strategies that deploy more energy than they harvest. Harvest will prioritize charging up the battery instead of using energy for performance.
Right. How do I get into automatic again?
Okay, perfect. Let's get back up to pace. Cover.
Wow, nice Aston, wow. Looks so weird. Wait.
Okay, back off. Yeah, copy.
Oh. I'm not gonna send him out. Look at that traffic. Sheesh. No! Ah! Unlucky.
It's up to you whether you manage the rest of the qualifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Radio check, Kev.
Radio's good.
What? Oh, Russell, please. Why do I have to be that guy?
I think we've had a car run wide.
Oh, Leclerc, please. Oh no! What the fuck? 1000. Big ogre. Literally 1000. I rope.
Welcome to race day. And before we get down to it, last minute checks are being made.
Haas proved quite resourceful during qualifying. That puts them in a very good position to make the most of this race start. Alfa Romeo managed to meet expectations during qualifying, and if they can keep this up, they'll have a good race ahead of them. And the night sky here is very overcast, with no moon or stars in sight. This might spell trouble for the teams and their drivers.
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to cope with the pressure? Let's find out right here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Right then, time for the main event, the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is a great time for us to get some early points under our belt. So let's stay focused and push hard. Each driver will need to make at least one pit stop to fit new tyres. On average, a pit stop will cost a driver about 25 seconds. So we need to think carefully about when to pit and why. Let's set a tyre strategy for our drivers now. We need to make sure we have a good plan for when we want the cars to pit. Every race weekend, the team will prepare some recommended strategies to choose from. Let's see what they suggest for this race. Okay, strategy A is a fast but risky option, relying on 2 soft stints and no hard compound at all. Strategy B is a well-balanced option, 2 soft stints and a nice long middle stint on a hard compound. Right. Strategy C is a slower but safe option for this track. We'll tackle the final stint on a medium compound instead of a soft tyre. If you think a different approach could work, you can make changes to any of the team strategies or even create one from scratch. We can always adapt our strategy during the race, so we can respond quickly to changing conditions and stay ahead of the pack. Right, strategy A it is. This is going to need careful management to pull off, so keep a close eye on things. Okay, now to select a strategy for our other driver. It doesn't have to be the same for both. You should consider picking a different strategy for each driver. This gives us a choice. That's both drivers with a set strategy in place.
Cloudy skies tonight, with the drivers now having taken position on the grid. There we see Kevin Magnussen. And it's Schumacher as the second driver today. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. The race start is mere seconds away. And this is it, the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go!
We need a back off.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
DRS enabled.
They've gone wide! Seems to have been a lock-up. With an overtake there.
Let's just put our head down. A new race position for Haas.
As the race progresses, remember to keep an eye on the planned strategy you put in place before the race. The strategy view will let you check your strategy, adjust it, or even change it entirely. The data view is also an important area to track during the race. It gives you a deep dive into race data, including lap times for all the team's drivers. From the data view, you can see live data from the current session. Here we can see the latest lap and sector times for all drivers, and an overview of their tyre conditions. Here you can also view how the current session could affect the drive. There's plenty more to dive in. During the race, you can use the strategy view to check on each driver's strategy and adjust them if need be. You can also check the strategy graphs to see how a car's tyre wear is matching up to the team's expectations. You can also use the car and track tabs to view more details about them. The car tab shows you current and projected component condition and fuel loads, while the track tab has more information about weather and track grip.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position. Looks like there's been a lockup.
Our driver has just entered the pit window. The pit window encompasses the laps that cover the planned pit stops in your strategy. This means it's nearly time to call the planned pit stop. Unless you think there's a reason to pit immediately, I always recommend sticking to the strategy and pitting on the optimal lap.
Haas with an overtake.
Right, let's talk tyres. During dry races, all cars need to use at least 2 different tyre compounds. If a car doesn't comply with this rule, ultimately it's your decision on which tyre compounds we go for. Although I'd strongly recommend sticking to the starting strategy when possible. You can see the estimated lap lifetime for each tyre when you focus on them. Once you've decided which tyre to move to, just confirm that...
overtake there. That's a new race position for Haas. We've just had a car run wide. Haas with an overtake. Was that a lock-up on the track? Let's see what happened there. Now just focus on the Haas. Oh, did someone run wide there? Let's take a closer look. Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one. They've taken that... Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place. Oh, big lock up there. Here's the replay. Now just focus on the Haas. And yes, that's the lock up. I think there's been a lock-up. That sounds like someone's gone wide there. Sounds like someone's locked up. Lock-up. they've run wide! Did somebody spin out there? With an overtake there. Who's running wide there? Looks like there's been a lockup. Seems to have been a lockup. And Sainz crosses the line first. He's taken the win. Mick Schumacher with a decent enough race here today. This was a reasonable weekend for Haas, but they'll need to work some things out if they want to push beyond that.
Yeah, plenty for them to think about and strategize, and certainly a good enough result for now.
And as this race weekend comes to a close, the team is 8th in the constructor standings.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
The team's drivers gain experience over each race weekend, depending on their performance. With enough experience, your drivers will be able to improve their skills.